Today we remember those who gave everything. And memory is never still.
This Memorial Day, one hero, one mission, to deliver softness to America.
No, Chi-Chi, we can't stop for snacks, dude. We have to deliver all of these soft disclosure gift cards.
He goes by Zach Kane.
The motion detector.
Hey, stop fighting over the beer brush.
Life finds a way.
Hydrate your elbows, moisturize your soul. Feel the rhythm together. Makes you feel alive and let the lotion roll. Soft disclosure, hear the cry. Maximum softness, do or die.
Muffin, hit it.
Hey, have you checked out the Badlands shop lately? You might be surprised from what you've been missing. From thoughtful gifts and unique finds to everyday household essentials and personal care must-haves, there's truly something for everyone at Badlands shop. But here's what makes it different. Every single purchase you make is so much more than just buying stuff. You're investing directly in the movement. You're empowering America First businesses, lifting up fellow Badlanders, and supporting the creators who are building the community with us. Thank you for being a part of this. Your support means everything. Head over now to badlandsmedia.tv/shop or click shop on the menu at badlandsmedia.tv and discover your new favorite brands. That's badlandsmedia.tv/shop. Tired of having heavy, dusty, smelly cat litter that tracks everywhere and fills your house with odor? Discover Love's Litter, the long-lasting wood-based litter made from pure kindling dried wood with no chemicals or additives. It's eco-friendly, repurposing wood that would otherwise go to the landfill. Here's why it's so great. It completely neutralizes cat urine odor. You just scoop out the solids daily, flush them, and the urine simply evaporates with zero smell. A single 45-pound box can last one cat 6 to 9 months when used about an inch deep. It turns into fine sawdust over time, so there's minimal tracking and less mess to clean. Do you have birds? LuvLitters is aggressively absorbent. It dries droppings instantly to prevent mold and dissolves harmlessly if your bird nibbles on them. Plus, it works wonderfully for ferrets, rabbits, reptiles, and more. Ready to kick the clay habit for good? Head to badlandsmedia.tv/litter for free shipping and try Love's Litters. Your pets and your nose will thank. June 25th through the 28th, Badlands Media is headed back to Deadwood, South Dakota for the 12th stop on the Great American Restoration Tour. Whether you're attending in person or virtually, a GART veteran or a virgin, there's something for everyone. Merch packages are also now available for both in-person or virtual ticket holders. Get your GART 12 tickets today at badlandsmedia.tv/events.
The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shipwreck Show. My name is Shipwreck, and I will be your hostess with the mostest. And good evening. Good day. Good day. I have mustaches. I feel like I should wear one during this show. My kid had to do his thingy. What's up? I love you. Our dog's in here. I love you. I know. It's bad. He has to go to the vet tomorrow. So he's got skin cancer. He was diagnosed with skin cancer back in October. And we had it all removed. And then 2 weeks ago, like it just exploded. Just lumps everywhere and they're oozing and bleeding. And he's having a hard time breathing. So we are spend the morning mowing and hanging out in Dave's yard. And then BJ's going to take him to the vet. So tomorrow at 3:00. But today's AGI, making sure nobody's stealing your likeness. You have a bunch more followers. Or I don't know what we're talking about. What are you talking about? Like on Rumble? Is that what you shared in the comments? I'm not on Rumble individually. Or like I am, but I don't ever use it. Because I used to do shows there and I don't anymore. So it's not me. So don't give them any of your money. I'll never ask you for money. I will never ask you for money. So do not give people your money if they're saying they're me. He had to do Martin Luther King during his wax museum where he had to talk about Martin Luther King and give like a whole like presentation. And I'm like, well, I should have told him that he beat his wife and kind of it's like a whole thing. There's a whole rabbit hole. But he didn't. He had to just tell people what he learned. Yeah, thank you. I do love my haircut. Update on the hair. I did a video. Most people, almost 99.9% of people loved it. There was 1% of men who were like, this is gay. And I'm like, yeah, well, your mom's gay and disappointed in you, Dave. So chill out. The hair's good. Everyone's like, well, what happens if you wake up and it's not styled? You have to style it. So I showered a day after my workout and then I just blow dried it. And then I put you only have to curl the top, which I love. So you just cut it in 4 sections, curl the top. And then I just put some texture powder in it. And then I left. And it's fine. It's fine. It was so much easier. It was way faster than trying to brown or blow dry my own hair. Not me. I can't open that, but it's not me. It's so much faster than trying to blow dry my old hair, which was getting too long. No. So we've only told one kid so far, so I don't want to say too much because he's in the bathroom, but no. But it's only going to progressively get worse. And that's kind of where we're at. Like my biggest fear is that in the middle of the night, it's going to get bad on like a Saturday. We don't have an emergency vet near here. And so he's going to have to wait and struggle and suffer. And I won't do that. Like I absolutely will not, because it's not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. So we just made it a point. So tomorrow we're going to mow the lawn, hang out in Neighbor Dave's on, and then we're going to go get a burger from the little shop here in town. And that's going to be his lunch. And then my husband's going to take him at 3. And that'll be that. And it's sad and it sucks and I hate it. But I don't want to talk about it anymore right now because I'll cry. Caught almost the end of your show. Hi. I just started. I have videos. The first video I got from a guy on TikTok that I follow. He's hilarious and I adore him. I think he's kind of a lefty, so don't get all in your britches about it. But he is. I don't even see that anymore. Like, I don't even care. I don't fucking care. They're all pedophiles. Everybody, whatever. Just whatever. Thomas Massey lost his race. The whole thing's fucking rigged. I'm sorry, but it just is. And I know everyone's like, but he's like, they're in my comments. They're like, he's a rhino. And I'm like, get that. They're all the same. They're all, even Thomas Massey probably. The private thing was probably a whole op. I don't know. I would have leaned harder into that it was an op if he'd have won, but he didn't. So, and Ed Gein, the serial killer who wore his mother's dead face as a mask, he won. Don't leave me, mother. Oh, God, creepy. I don't know how the fuck that happened. It is what it is. And they said boomers are the ones that shut up. And the one thing, too, I don't think enough people thought about and talked about is that if you are a registered independent or like a libertarian, I think it's independent, you're not allowed to vote in those elections. You can't. You have to have a party. At least that's the way it is in my state. I don't know if that's the way it is in Kentucky, but that could have a big part in it. So they showed up in droves, voted for Ed Gein. And that's it. He's done. He'll be out in January. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know, man. If you'd asked me a year ago, I wasn't even a huge fan of Massey a year ago. Like I really didn't, one way or another, you know what I mean? But if you'd asked me a year ago, his people were such fans of him. Like the people in his district. It was wild. And then now it's like, well, he votes with the Democrats. And I'm like, there is no Democrats. The whole thing's a fucking lie. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. It's just, there's no Democrats and Republicans. It's just more division, man. And I wish I could stand here and say that I was shocked that he lost, but I'm not. I'm not at all. I guess he won by mail-in votes, which I guess are totally legit now, according to Conservative Incorporated. Totally legit to mail-in vote now. We hated it 2 years ago, but we love it now. This is why I started cooking, because I simply cannot. I cannot. With the hypocrisy, I cannot. I cannot. It's one thing to change your mind and change your stance and change your values, but to do so at such a pivotal time where it's like, I'm fairly confident you're getting paid to say that. You know what I mean? I don't think this are your morals. Like, you can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't. It's I'm kind of tired of being lumped in together. I kind of sorry about the boomer thing. I should not say that. My dad was definitely not like that. He was a boomer. Now my mom is. My mom's a Democrat, and she's a Democrat till the day she dies. Full blown. Like, trans kids, people can read to kids. Democrat. My dad, on the other hand, also a boomer. Definitely not. He was registered Republican, but he wasn't like, he wouldn't have fallen for this shit at all. He would have went independent if he was still here, because this would have pissed him off to no end. And eventually, as he got older, he got to this point where it's just like, you can't believe anything the government's going to tell you. So sorry about the boomer talk. I'm sorry. God dang it. Now you know how the millennials felt. I'm not even a millennial. I'm a generation exennial. That's what I am. Everybody talks about how like Gen X is the micro generation, but like we exist. We're like the super micro generation. Like we're the exennials. Like we were raised in like FM radio, AM radio, ham radios, or we were born in like ham, and then we were raised in the digital age. So we are legit like split in half, which is why it's easier for us to adapt to technology, I think, than it is for a lot of people from the Gen X generation. But at the same time, we are nostalgic for a time when none of this existed as well, deeply in our core. Nobody talks about this our little micro 4-year, it's like 82, 83, 84, this little tiny generation. So whatever. We're all individuals. Everybody wants to be labeled. I've been labeled the Democrat all week. A liberal. I'm like, whatever. Just eat your fucking meatloaf. I don't know. It's a long story that I can get into another night if you want. Let's start with the videos. So tonight I got a few videos. This first one is really good, and it's why I wanted to talk about it first. He talks about what's going on in rural America. And this hit me kind of hard because we live in a very small town, but it's a very small town in a very good place in terms of like marketing. Like it is the perfect place to have a large truck stop or something that could boost. And we're like one of the poorest towns in this county. And it's wild to me because we are 37 seconds off the interstate. Like, I don't know why we don't have like a Love's or why we don't have like a Hy-Vee, or we don't have any of that. We have a McDonald's, and then we got a Dairy Queen that's closed half the time because they can't get anybody to work there, which could be why we don't have a Love's or Hy-Vee. Again, but we could bring people into work. It's a whole thing. And from what I understand, well, let's watch the video and then we'll go through it.
What is it now?
People within the politics of rural America, they need to realize that a kid that gets hired to work in the tire shop the rest of the year and then drive a floater in the spring, that's not necessarily what we all mean by bringing another generation back in agriculture. You're not going to put down roots and raise a family being seasonal help. And we need to figure out how to get them involved.
Oh no, they know how. They just don't want to. Story time. In the middle of the town I live, there's a 40,000 square foot former Coca-Cola bottling plant that's been sitting vacant for the better part of 30 years. 5 years ago, it came on the market, and I had a plan and an investor all lined up. It was going to be beautiful. The centerpiece of the operation would be a small-scale poultry slaughterhouse, completely self-contained and invisible to anyone outside. The building would also contain affordable housing units, a butcher, a baker, and classroom space for training new farmers to operate the farms that would supply the slaughterhouse. The plan would create over 24 full-time year-round jobs, serve as a tourist attraction, and bring in millions of dollars of retail revenue, subject to local sales taxes. It would revitalize farmland, keep it in agricultural use, and protect it from developer pressure. But in order to do all this, we'd have to get a zoning variance from the town council and the town manager. A bunch of old people. You want to know what these mother said to me? They said that they really appreciated the small butcher and the small restaurant and the baker part of it, but the jobs and housing part was going to be a problem because it conflicted with the small town character called for in the town's master plan. And that's when I understood what I was dealing with. These elder boomers who run these sparsely populated towns and counties, they do not want thriving rural communities. They want a quiet little tomb to die in. They want to go to the DMV, there's no line. They go to the restaurant, they don't need a reservation, they don't wait to sit down. There's roads, but there's no traffic on them. There's no property crime. They don't have to fight for parking. There's no noise, there's no kids. And they want just enough money coming in to keep these few services on life support. Economic development would mean people live here full time and it would ruin their good time. So the next best thing is to convince rich people from the nearest city to buy second homes here. That way they don't live here full time, they pay property taxes, they increase their own property values, and everything stays the same. So naturally, young people flee this environment as fast as a used Nissan Altima can carry them, leaving old people to pretend that they don't know why it's happening. And until they're willing to compromise at least a little on their own personal comfort, rural communities will decline into the grave right along with them.
He was so spot on with that because we are in kind of a very similar situation. Our town is like perfect. It's right in between two great big hubs with two airports. It's right along I-29, which goes all the way to Chicago or goes all the way to Denver, right? And it's right in the middle between these two airport hubs. And there could be hotels, there could be, truck stops, there could be all kinds of stuff. But I guess there was plans to do stuff like this at one point or a couple different points. And then the city council voted it down. And it's full, and no offense to the boomers. Okay. It is full of mostly older people who don't want things to change here. Like, I think I read like 80% of this town is rentals. Everybody in this town rents. Nobody buys homes. And it's like 70% of the people here are on government assistance. And they like it that way. They just keep them poor. There's no reason for somebody to move here unless you want to live in a small town and commute to the bigger city for work, which is kind of what drew us here. But now selling our home might be a little harder because there's nothing here. There you can go work at McDonald's. We have a McDonald's, right? That's it. And a Dairy Queen, which the Dairy Queen is no good. Last time I went there, my chicken was raw. It was gross, right? We got a Mexican restaurant, which is super good. Super good. And then we got another Mexican restaurant, which I'm pretty sure is just a front. We have a really good little Chinese place that's owned by local people. And then we got a couple like boutiques. We have a dermatologist, but they only, I think, are here like a couple times. They might be here full time, but they're from like the big city. And then they come to these. It's just very, and they like it that way, but they don't want it to change. Now, one thing I can say about the guys that are our age that we're like all friends with whose sons play sports with our kids and so on and so forth are very involved and have very big ideas about things because they plan on living here, I think, for like their life. Like, this is their home. We don't know yet. We don't know what we're going to do yet when these kids fly the coop, but they plan on staying. And so like they have big ideas. They just have to wait it out. But we got a big insurance company. We've got one guy that does a lot of the land development and stuff like that for the towns over because they won't let him do it here. So he does it for the towns over. But eventually they all want to kind of like start getting on that city council as those other people get off and start changing things and start putting more money into the school and putting like the coaches that are part of the youth sports, all of them have donated so much of their time for these youth sports. My husband, our friends, and the wrestling coach, the high school wrestling coach, he does a summer program for the youth kids, which is not new, but it was new when we got here. Like a lot of places don't do that. They're trying to build this thing, but they're trying to build it from the ground up, and they keep running into stops because of shit like this. Because there's people that just, they don't want it to change. That's the way we've always done it because it's the way we've always done it. But I think that that's slowly starting to change. And I'm grateful for that. We have a really strong FFA program that's teaching kids how to be farmers and how to do agriculture. We do have a lot of younger people that are our age that are legitimate farmers, albeit not big ones. But legitimate farmers, we buy our beef from, and we just purchased another half, which we'll go and get in June. We bought our pig from another guy, which we'll go and pick up in June. So they're trying to kind of bring it back because it was dying. Like when we first moved here, I was like, man, how is there nothing here but like meth? How does that happen? Like what happened? And then we started to hear kind of some of the stuff that would go on. Like it was just, they just got cock blocked at every time they wanted to bring in something new, they got shot down. No new grocery store, because then it would take away from the old grocery store, built in a tin can that's here, where your produce is, hit or miss. But it's changing. It's just slow. It's slow. Come live me. Wait a minute. I don't remember. Where do you live? Don't you live like in the Midwest? I can't remember where you live. We're talking about Southern, out of town for sure. Out of town for sure. I do love it here. I love the school. I love everybody I love our immediate community. Like neighbor Dave and his wife are fabulous. And then we got the neighbors on their side. They're great. School is great. The sports program, albeit even though it's small, is really good. The track team is going to state, which is huge for this school. I do love it here. I love all the people here. They're super kind, and the local lady did my hair. I'd never heard of her. Florida no, I won't. Florida's sticky and sweaty. No. No, I'm good. We talked about moving to Southwest, like Arizona, New Mexico. It's cheap, and I can have tarantulas and tarantula farms. I can. Mr. Shipwreck don't want nothing to do with that. I don't know why. He's a hater. We talked about Tennessee. The lady that did my hair is from Tennessee. She was from the Memphis area, though, and the reason they moved here was because the crime was so bad there. I guess it was a real problem. So I don't know when we might stay here and just move out into the hills. We don't know yet. I know winters here are getting harder and harder every year I'm alive. I can tell you that. It is. And everybody, you can make fun of Iowa all you want, but man, ain't nobody hide Mexicans like Iowa. Okay, we put them all in Mexican restaurants, and it's authentic and it's fabulous. I mean, it might be made from raccoon meat, but I don't even care. I fucking love it. I love it. I love our Mexican restaurant. We try to go every week to have our business meeting so I can write things off for my taxes. Isn't Georgia like super swampy too? I can't do the humidity. North Dakota gets a lot of snow, but I do like North Dakota. I don't know. We're still thinking about it. We got to get through these next few years with these kids, though. We're here till then. And then we'll kind of decide what we want to do. I know for sure I want to move out of town, regardless where that is. I want like 3 acres. I don't even need a nice house. I just need a house that I can fix up myself, because we don't, as long as it's got a good foundation, I don't care. I just need a house I can fix up myself. And then we want a couple acres just in case the housing shit goes to shit. And then again, and the kids can't find anything, then they can come back and they can just build. So on one of our acres. I don't want a free sauna. I don't want to sweat. I don't like I sweat on my treadmill. I don't want to sweat when I go get groceries. Thank you very much. I love the haircut. I really do. I was going to dye it too next week. I might actually cancel that and just leave it blonde for the summer, and then maybe go back in the fall and dye it and do a recut then. Georgia's hot and muggy. Yeah, no, I'm not interested. It's like corn sweat, but for more months out of the year. I'm good. I don't know what we're going to do. We just moved to Texas from Iowa. Iowa's nice. We need to be closer to the sun. Good for you. That's good. Texas is all right. It's not doll heart. Where's my OG people at? Do I have any OG people in here that know the doll heart story? I fucking hate doll heart. I will never go back to fucking doll heart, Texas. All right, moving on. I got more videos. Sorry. I'm just rambling. We're a small town to retiring from Las Vegas. That's where my husband's from, is Las Vegas. I own farmland in Iowa. I'm never giving. Nope. Don't ever give it up. Never give it up. Unless you're going to sell it to me. I just need like 3 acres so I can have some chickens and maybe a cow. I can raise a cow that I can slaughter and then I can have my own beef and I can stop buying it from people. All right, here we go. What's the next one? Ooh, the psychology of iced coffee. This isn't really in anything, but it is interesting. It is a little long. It's like 5 minutes long, but it's this college kid or high school kid. And he had to do the psychology of iced coffee. And I think it was for like an assignment. And it was super interesting because everybody drinks. I don't drink iced coffee. There's tons of calories in it. And I don't like to drink my calories. So, and I've never been a coffee drinker, but he got into like the economy of it. And then he got into like the social construct of it. Oh, it's super interesting. So let's play that.
Hello.
Wait, I got to go back to my other screen. Sorry.
Hello, my name is Braden, and today I'm going to be talking about the psychology of iced coffee, what this means for us sociologically, psychologically, and why it has been increasing in popularity in recent years. To start, it's important that we go back to the 1970s to the 1990s, where the use of fillers and additives and sweeteners in general, like high fructose corn syrup, increased by over 1,000%, with 40% of sweeteners being corn syrup itself. Exactly what this means is that the American palate has changed over time. Specifically, we now crave sweet things that are cheap, efficient, and quick. That has completely changed the way not only our diet has shaped, but also our culture itself. We are constantly moving, constantly in motion, and we crave things that are easy, accessible, and also sweet. Hence, the rise in coffee. The actual rise in coffee, specifically within America, can actually go back to the Boston Tea Party, in which we threw out all of Britain's tea, boycotted it, and chose another beverage for our mornings, coffee. Through the years, it's increased to become a pillar of hospitality, and through Italian diaspora communities, specifically within Boston, things like the cappuccino and the frappuccino, which was later trademarked in New York City itself, have grown in popularity as well. Specifically, coffee, though, has become a sentiment of American mornings, a corporate and business in general lifestyle. A sign of a job, a sign of productivity, and overall a pillar of the working class. But why has iced coffee, specifically within more recent years, kicked off in popularity? Well, it actually comes down to a lot of human psychology, consumer-driven responses, and sociology itself. There are a number of factors that led to the integration of iced coffee. Not only, like I mentioned, has the American consumer palate changed to actually prefer sweet things, especially in the mornings, it's actually changed the way we view aesthetics. As Gene Bachelor talks about in Simulacra and Simulacrum, late-stage capitalism values something called a sign value. Iced coffee isn't just valued because it is caffeine. You're not buying a specific wake-up call, you're buying into the aesthetic of it. It's not just a drink to wake you up in the mornings, it's a drink that literally gives off the vibes. I'm young, I'm mature, I am of the working class. It's also interesting to see the parallels between how European coffee is evolved over time. It's more of an actual sign of leisure. You go to a cafe and you sit there for hours. You talk, people watch. All the seats are actually turned to face the street so you can watch people walk by. It's a sign of leisure. However, in America, it is a pillar of I am on the move, I'm working, I'm busy. What iced coffee has done, it has completely changed that platform itself. While hot coffee in the past is easy, iced coffee is not only more accessible, easier to carry, it's also less of a safety hazard in general. Hot coffee can be easily spilled at 200 degrees, which is the average temperature that it sits at, while iced coffee is also just easier to carry around. It's once again not about what you're actually buying into, it's the sign value, or the idea that you're buying into the aesthetic of it. This also comes down to the lipstick effect. The economy, let's face it, is not in a great state right now. The lipstick effect is the idea that you will give up a lot of more expensive amenities, however, keep smaller indulgences that you care about, that give off the illusion of not only the fact that you are still financially successful, but also amenities that you really do care about. In many cases, like the Great Depression, this was lipstick, hence the name. However, this is translated into a more modern version of coffee. Students, especially college students that have a large student debt, still tend to make small purchases through this lipstick effect on things like coffee, as it leads to productivity in the overall aesthetic. This is also the idea of compensatory consumption, or that Gen Z craves the rational purchase of, say, an apartment, but instead compartmentalizes this by buying into the aesthetic of it, like an iced coffee that shows productivity and overall the clean girl aesthetic. Another thing is iced coffee has changed the way we visually approach things like social media. In fact, in this graph here that I was able to make with available data, we can actually see the increase of Instagram users and the increase of iced coffee. Another psychological layer to this is something that psychologists call the IKEA effect, or the idea that the more effort you put into specializing and specifying your order, the more not only personalized does it feel, the more valuable it feels to you internally, whether you realize it or not. Because iced coffee is so easy to customize, especially with places like Starbucks and Dunkin' having so many syrups, milks, so many ways you can truly customize your drink, once you found your niche order, psychologically within your brain, it is of high value. This all can also be traced back to just the American dream itself, and the idea of a Protestant work ethic, which is what this country was founded on, or the idea of a hustle culture. Americans are always in a move, always working for that American dream, right? They push into you. If you have a job, if you're busy, if you have college, if you have an education, if you have a lot going on, a lot on your plate, that means you are doing it right. With that in mind, Americans, they're losing sleep. 90% of Americans actively have caffeine every day because of their lack of sleep. We've culminated a culture in which it is essentially essential to drink coffee in order to survive. You need caffeine, you need to be awake, and you need to be able to run on 6 hours of sleep. This goes back to Baudrillard's theory, right? The idea that a simulacrum, for example, is having like a copy without an original. It's saying you are able to replicate this authentic cafe feeling. It's the feeling of living a productive, aesthetic lifestyle. And that has overall what's led to the increase of iced coffee in recent years.
Wild. I thought about why iced coffee had become such a big deal. Because it even wasn't, when I was like in my 20s, iced coffee wasn't a huge deal. We always got, because back when I was a big fan of Starbucks, we always got hot coffee. And then the iced coffee thing just took off. And it is good. I've had frappuccinos is that what they're called? Frappes. But God, they're just loaded. Like I am just itching because of the amount of sugar that's in them. So I didn't usually have them off, and I haven't had one in a long time. But I just thought that was super interesting that it was more about creating an aesthetic and a status. Because you see it on TikTok too, right? Where people are like, they're stirring in their glass jars, like in their mason jars. And it's the aesthetic more than it is anything else. And then obviously the sugar addiction. Somebody said sugar was, what was it? Like corporate cocaine or something like that. Sugar with coffee is, I think there is a difference. I don't know, because I usually put 2 sugars. Like if I do get coffee, it's usually from a hotel. Like if we're staying in a hotel. I don't know why. I always get an urge for coffee when we're in a hotel or when I was in jail. And I usually put 2 sugars in it. And I just don't, we talk about how sugar is like, and yes, I get that. But I think there's just way more sugar in things than maybe there used to be. I'm not sure. I guess I just don't ever, I don't know. We make most of our stuff from home. My kids will take their allowance and they can go and kind of get whatever they want, but it's usually a one-day thing, and then they got to eat what we got, which is usually baked goods from home or yogurt. So I'm kind of an ingredients household here, which I think they hate, but that's okay. They'll get over it. But I don't know. I just thought that was super interesting, the way that he explained it all. And it makes you look like you're part of the in crowd, the working class, the corporate America, iced coffee. And then you got to think back to like, well, how did you used to know somebody's status? Well, smoking was one. Like if you smoked a pipe, you were supposedly like sophisticated. And if you rolled your own cigarettes, you were like, you lived in a shack. So it's just weird. Everything has sugar, fat, or salt. There's a lot of it. I like creamer in my coffee too, but not creamer. I like milk, just plain milk, skim milk, 2%. I don't care. Just milk and sugar. I'm usually fine. I don't know. I don't drink it now. I have, which goes back to the caffeine addiction. I mean, we drink energy drinks in the morning. I usually only drink half mine though, which feels like a waste, but I don't know. It is what it is. I'm a coffee drink and drink iced lattes and hot coffee, but I don't do sugar at all. If I want sweet, I use coconut or raw. I just bought some raw honey. If I want something sweet, it's honey. I like honey sometimes. I have my little 100-calorie crisp thing too. I've been counting my calories since like the beginning of April. It's the one diet I haven't done. Like I have about 30 pounds to lose, believe it or not. And I've tried everything. I've done Mediterranean diet. I've done keto. I did keto for a year in my like 20s, which is a lot easier to do in your fucking 20s than it is in your 40s. Mediterranean. I've tried vegan, vegetarian. I feel like Weight Watchers. There was one I just did. They're like all the programs, I've done it all. And so this last time I caught a TikTok from this guy I follow, and he's like part of the gym bros, right? But he's always yelling at fat people. It just kind of makes me laugh because I was kind of a fat person. I was like, yeah, I need some motivation. But they count calories. That's like his big thing. And I'm like, well, I could try that. So I tried it for a week, and it turned out, and I lost like 7 pounds that week because I was consuming about like 24 to 2,500 calories a day. So you go to like this website and you put in all your details, and then it tells you how many calories you should be eating if you want to be in a deficit. And then it gives you like a scale, how many pounds you want to lose. So I went hard deficit for a month. I went to 1,200, like 11 to 1,200 for the month of April. And I lost like 14 pounds. And I didn't feel like I was starving, and I didn't feel deprived. I didn't feel it. I could still eat pretty much whatever I wanted. I just had to portion it out. I had to weigh my food. I had to weigh like the entire dish and then divide that by the number of servings that I had, and then weigh it sounds like a big pain in the ass, and it kind of was in the beginning, but now it seems just like second nature. So I did that for April, and then in May, I kind of stalled. And so in May, I went up like 200 calories a day. And then I'm getting like 10 to 15,000 steps a day. So I'm on the treadmill for about an hour and then just my regular steps. So I upped my calories a little bit because I was having a real hard time hitting that goal too. And now I'm consistently a pound or a half a pound a week that I'm losing. And I'm not hungry. Like I'm not starving. I'm not grouchy. I feel like my hormones have balanced out. Like I feel really good. I do intermittent fast, but I don't do it intentionally. So I stop eating usually before 8. That's my big thing. Like I try not to have nighttime snacks, even little things. Like I'll have chocolate milk or a diet soda instead. But I don't eat breakfast at all. And so my first meal, and it's a real meal now because I have to put intention behind what I'm making because I have to measure it out and track it. It's a real lunch or brunch because it's usually by 11. And so I don't eat until like 11. And so I fast all that time. And it works. It worked. And I'm not grumpy. I'm not grouchy. I'm not yelling at people. I don't feel deprived. I don't feel lightheaded. I still have lots of energy to like get on the treadmill and do all my little workouts. I'm going to start doing like what do you call them? Toning and things like that. Like we're going to start doing that probably in another week or two. But yeah, I'm an intermittent faster. I could do that. I've fasted for days. I hate it. It gives me a migraine. I fucking hate it. I think the longest I've fasted is 4 days, and it's fucking terrible. I just really like food. But I found out that I really do like food, but I can absolutely eat less of it. That's no big deal at all. Like we went to the little restaurant here in town, and I got chicken strips and french fries, and I just cut everything in half, and then I just ate half and then boxed up the other half. And I was not full, but I was satiated. And that was enough. That's wild. It's fucking wild. That's the only thing I had never ever tried to do was count calories and get 10K steps. And I like the 10K steps. And I just walk. I don't fast walk. I don't walk at an incline. I don't do any of that. I just walk and scroll on my phone all day, or walk and scroll on my phone for an hour in the morning. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. My body doesn't digest fatty foods. Changing my diet felt good. Yeah. It's fucking nuts. Yeah, so we could talk. Oh, so is like the food pyramid, the 3 meals a day shit. That's all bullshit, apparently. Breakfast, the most important meal of the day, was a marketing strategy was it the pork industry? I thought it was cereal. I thought it was like Cheerios or Quaker Oats or something. I'd have to go back and look. But it was a total marketing by a company. The whole breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Because it's bullshit. I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat, yeah. And I sometimes, like, especially if I'm right after my cycle ends for that week and a half, 2 weeks, I won't eat till noon, 1 o'clock. And even then I eat very little. And I feel like I get more full now off of smaller portions. The portions that we're given to are way too big. Like, they're way bigger than they used to be. It's fucking wild. Yeah, it's just, you just walk. And as soon as it warms up for good, it never is going to hear. We had a freeze warning last night, for Christ's sakes. I'll do it outside, but right now I was chilling on the treadmill. All right, what else we got? What do we got going on here? What do we got? Oh, Kenneth Copeland. You guys know who that is? He's like the preacher with the eyes. Apparently, he's been blackmailing people. I caught this. I was going to look more into it, but if this is another long video, it's like 6 minutes. But he talks about Kenneth Copeland blackmailing people, how he had cameras in his parishes so he could blackmail people.
He's blackmailing.
Yeah, got to get dirt on people.
How did you come across this information?
Through our PIs. Yeah.
Every single guest room
the guest rooms in a parsonage owned by the church is wiretapped, video and audio, to basically archive dirt on people staying with you.
Has anybody received the footage?
No. Because no one can ever get to the house.
Man. Wow.
It's not things aren't as it seems.
It appears that way.
So I had the thought that, hey, I want to see the parsonage. So I start giving money to his church, and I'm like, the church owns that house. No one's seen it. So I want to see it. So a YouTuber named Tommy G and I start going to his church. And we're like, okay, I get a schematic, a big printout of his property because it's huge. I track the roads. We, get a visual on it. And there's one open gate from rain runoff that couldn't close. And it went from a parking lot to this dirt road. And so I could see it on the map, and I'm like, that's our in. We're just going to steer down this open gate and see where it leads us, and we're going to try to get to the house. So this is in the show. We go to service. Ironically, all these pastors know me. So as soon as I sit down, there's 3 security guards around me, like with their earpieces. And I sit through part of the service. I get up and leave, and Tommy walks out, and we meet at the cars, and we just start driving. So we get on this dirt road. We go over this open fence, and boom, we're 50 yards from his runway, but there's a gate closed. And I'm like, shoot, I got nowhere to go, man. We pull up to the gate, it just opens. And I'm like, well, this is God. So we're doing this. So we get onto the runway. So now it's something out of, what's that? It's something out of an action movie. We got 2 cars flying down a runway now. And I'm like, okay, we're going to make a hard right here. And this is all in the show. And there's another gate. And boom, that gate opens too. And so now we're like 3/4 the way to his house. No one's been down here before. No one's ever seen footage of this. And I'm a big bow hunter. And so as I'm driving through this property, it's all high fenced. So it's 10 to 12 foot fences. I start seeing bucks everywhere. Deer. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is his own hunting ground. And sure enough, we pull up to his house, and there's one final gate, and he has this massive deer stand. And I'm like, this pastor has his own high fenced hunting ground on his property, on the church property that no one gets to use, but they pay for. So we pull up to the fence, and there's a keypad. So I'm like, we're not getting through this one. And now I'm 200 yards from the house, so we can see it. So we put drones in the air. We're having fun. No one's ever been here. And so there's no security. And so I call the front desk of the church because I'm like, well, we're kind of stuck here now. So I call the front desk, and I can't remember the guy's name. Abraham. This nice guy named Abraham answers. And he's like, this is Abraham. How are you doing, Nathan? And I said, whoa, how do you know this is Nathan? And he goes, we have your number. You've been giving to us. And so they're just a refined call center. And I'm like, okay, awesome. He's like, what would you like to do? Would you like to give money, or would you like prayer? And I'm like, well, I got a random request. Like, we're sitting at the gate of Kenneth's house. Like, I'd love to meet the pastor. And he's like, you're what? And I'm like, I'm at the gate. Like, we're down here. We made it through 2 gates. We were on the one, and I tell him the whole story, and he goes, please hold. And he just puts me on hold, and there's some hymn music in the background. We sit there for 30 minutes. And I'm like, no one believes that we actually made it here, so let's just head back to the runway. So we drive back to the runway, And we just wait. I'm like, if we just sit on the runway, someone's going to see us. So we just sit on this open runway. And sure enough, within 5 minutes, boom, 2 private security guards cars come driving by, park next to us. They're professionals. Like after Ed Young's experience, like I know private security and I know professional security and then just like straight cowboys. And these guys are professionals. So they come up and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, hey, we just have a couple questions about the parsonage. We tried to, get there, but we couldn't get there. And we're having a cordial conversation, and out of nowhere, we just hear this F-150 comes screeching up on us. And this dude jumps out, and he looks like John Ritter from the movies. So he comes like flying up to where he's almost hits us, a couple feet from us, and he gets out, and he tears his glasses off, and he opens his jacket, and he walks up to us. He's like, "You out of here now!" And he flashes this badge. And he pulls his shirt open, and he's got his like a pistol, like 9 or something sitting there in his pants. And luckily, Tommy G has been through this enough. And he goes, "Let me see that badge." And the guy goes, "No, get out of here now." And he goes, No, I want to see your badge." And this guy grabs both of us, so assault, and starts shoving us to the cars. And right then, the professional security is like, "Whoa." So they grab John Ritter, and then they throw him against his truck, and they're like, "Get out of here." And it turns into this funky altercation. Come to find out, he is Kenneth's private security, like main security guy. And again, I'm respectful. And so cops show up, there's kind of the standoff, and we're like, "Hey, we just have questions about the financials. No one's willing to talk. That parsonage is paid for by the congregants. No one's ever been here. No one's ever seen it. Like at least someone should be able to look at it." And the cops are like, "Hey, can you guys please leave?" And the private security is like, "Can you guys just leave?" And we're respectful. We're like, "Okay, but we'd love to talk to someone." So flash forward a couple days, we find out that cowboy security is Kenneth's private security, and they fire him. That guy has traveled around the U.S. to churches. He gets hired and fired over and over again. It's just his MO. But so another major loophole is these parsonages. You could do whatever you want. David Taylor, who was just arrested by the FBI yesterday, 26 or 28,000, square foot home in Tampa, Florida. That's just one. He has about 28 million in real estate. And so just with the loopholes, you can do whatever you want. And again, you're asking for money, whether that be through tithing or generosity, from vulnerable people who are there, to be preyed on and loved on. And these guys just build empires in the name of Jesus.
Man. Do you think they're preaching anything that is, what do you think about their teachings? And
This is garbage.
Kenneth Copeland is fucking creepy. He's the guy with the eyes. If you haven't seen it, just Google it. You'll recognize him immediately. That's wild. Wild, but like not surprised. You know what I mean? Like we all know, but it just boggles my fucking mind why people still give to his church. Why people still give to any church. It boggles my mind why we give to the government. Taxes is one thing. Got to pay those. You lose your house. They'll garnish your wages, right? But why are we donating to campaigns? Like, that's all fucking no. I voted for Trump, but I didn't donate any money. I don't have money to give you. For what? You have money, lots of it. Like, why do we have to raise a certain amount of donations in order for us to even throw our hat in the ring to be a seat as a senator or a congressman? None of that makes any goddamn sense. None of it does. Thank you very much. I do love my hair. Somebody asked if I regret it. I do not. I'm not emotionally attached to my hair in the slightest. I never have been. I've had it shaved damn near. This one time I went in. It was right after my youngest was born, or my middle kid was born. And I wanted do you remember Kate Gosselin? Okay, so that hair was all in, right? And I was working at a corporate-y job. And so I wanted the Kate Gosselin, the stacked in the back and then, kind of longer in the front and the side swoop. That's what I wanted. And this girl, I don't know if she was new or what. I went to this cost cutters because that's what I did. And I don't know if she was new. She really didn't speak very good English. She's like, okay. I showed her. I said, this is what I want. It's a very common haircut. All the women were getting it. Everybody was getting this haircut. She took a razor and started shaving my head, and she shaved clear up to the top, and she did it 3 different times before I was like, hey, boy, I don't think that's what's supposed to be happening. And it was sticking out. I cried. A little bit. That's the only time I've ever cried in a hair salon because she shaved it. It was shaved with a 2. For context, my middle kid shaved his entire head with a 2 because all the track kids did. They were bald. I was bald. I had 3 great big bald swipes in the back of my head. So what they ended up having to do was cut it. And so like I was pretty much bald from like here, down. And then I had like this patch of hair in the front, and then they dyed it brown so that I didn't look bald. And since then, I rocked it because what else are you going to do? Since then, I've never had emotional attachment to hair. I don't give a fuck. It'll grow back probably. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Do you? I just don't care one way or another. I loved the Rachel cut too. I did that for a while. My hair used to be a really dark auburn color, like a super dark brown red for a long time. I dyed it that color. That was the color it was when my husband met me. And he loved it. He wants me to go back, but I was also like in my late 20s. My skin was a lot, like smoother. Like I wasn't 43 doing it. I was young and full of life. Like I could pull off a look like that. Like, I don't know if I could do that today. Kenneth Copeland, stop giving your money to the government. Stop giving your money to churches. Unless you're a local church, that's different. If you really want to, I still don't. I don't believe in paying tithe. I just don't. I feel like we should figure something else out because it just never made any sense to me. It still doesn't to this day. I was pissed. I cried. It was, but then it was traumatizing. Like now I'm wildly not afraid to chop all my hair off because nothing will ever get as bad as that was. Just won't. It'll never be as bad as that was. That was fucking terrible. It was terrible. I had to. Like it was so long and so heavy and just gross. And I did not want to go into the summer with it like that. So I got this. And I like this because I can just clip it back when I'm doing shit around the house. So, all right, what do we got next? I get talking and then I forget. Oh, the cars for kids. Do you guys see this? This trended on X for a little bit, I think, but it was more of a big deal on TikTok. And I remember this commercial. Like, I remember this playing on the TV. Cars for kids. Let's talk about it.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.com. That's cars with a K.
Supposed to help kids in need, right? Get cars or whatever. Not any kids though. Jewish kids, just Jewish kids, not your kids, not Christian kids, not Buddha kids, just Jewish kids. It was a Jewish kid. And I remember this fucking commercial. They had to stop because of it. Yeah, so hold on. And then I got another video kind of explains it. I love this guy. He makes me laugh too.
Cars for Kids was using the money that it's raised to only help the Jews. And is that a problem? Do you have a problem with helping Jews? Yeah, no. Well, excuse me? I don't want to use this word, but you guys are making me use this word. It's sneaky of you guys. Oh, that's preposterous. We were very obvious with our branding that this was a Jewish organization. What are you guys talking about? Your organization is called Cars for Kids. For the longest time, I thought the money was going to underprivileged children, not Jews. If it was going to Jews, you guys should have just called it Cars for Jews. And only get Toyota Siennas? No, I don't think so. Our mascot was literally a talking $5 bill. How much more on the nose can we get? Phrasing, sorry. Okay. Yes, but you guys could have been a little more honest, right? And then you guys spent $16 million to Israel? I mean, sneaky. It's sneaky. Sneaky. Sneaky Jew.
Sneaky Jew. Sneaky. I just thought it was wild because I remember that commercial from when I was younger. I was like, what do you mean? What is this? What's going on? What happened? Oh my God. They're always sneaking through the Old Testament and still are. Yeah, well, we can talk about the Old Testament. We can talk about the Bible. You want to talk about the Bible for a minute? I caught this video talking about pigs in the Bible. So here you go. Oh, here, let me change the screen again. I got to remember to do this because I like this much better, but I always forget to do it. I just click and go. But okay, so the Bible and pig, pork, bacon.
It says don't eat pork.
Yeah, Leviticus 11.
Does it tell you why?
Yeah, because they're bottom feeders. They're the scum of the earth. Same thing with shellfish. How can you have a healthy body if you're consuming the scum?
Where does it say do not eat pork?
Leviticus 11.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah.
Because if it says that,
It says do not eat swine.
no, if it says just point blank, hey, don't eat that,
Yeah.
I'll never eat it again.
Yep.
It says, don't eat it. Do not eat it. Leviticus 11:7, and repeated in Deuteronomy. It describes the pig as having a split hoof, but not chewing the cud, and therefore being unclean. Israelites were commanded not to eat it or even touch its carcass. So you believe, like, you read that and you're like, okay, let me get back to this. Were you eating pork though?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were just kind of forgot, or
Well, we weren't taught that in church. We were taught that that was all done away with. We can eat whatever we want now. It's all been washed away under the cross. And when I learned, because I want to know the scientific aspect of things, like why did he tell us not to eat it? Well, when a pig eats something within 4 hours, it doesn't matter what it is, it's in the meat of it's in their flesh. All the food that God told us we could eat, they're all vegetarian. So, and they also choose.
why shouldn't we be vegetarian?
Well, because the foods he told us to eat are vegetarian. So if we're consuming a cow, it's pure meat.
Gotcha.
Because they have 4 stomachs. Every time they eat and it gets sent to the next one, it purifies it and purifies it and purifies it. So by the time the nutrients gets to the meat, you're actually eating the good part of the meat.
So maybe the Jews are correct.
They're right on that. Yes, we should not be eating pork.
I wonder if, like, science backs that up as well.
Oh, yeah. Pork's the leading cause of diabetes, cancer, stroke, heart disease, high blood
So
pressure.
why do they allow it?
Because it keeps you coming back for their medicine. It's that cynical. It's that maniacal.
So if you had one message for the bomb squad, is stop eating pigs.
Stop eating pigs, man. Do the work. Be obedient. You know pork is the closest to human meat.
No.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, now you do.
So this reminded me, so you guys know I watched The Chosen, but this reminded me of when Jesus was walking through that crowd of people and that lady reached out and touched his garment. Was that her? Yeah, she was the lady that was bleeding a lot. She had some kind of hemorrhaging problem. Touched his garment. She was healed, right? And he's talking to her. And then the Pharisees come out and they're like, she needs to go wash. You need to go. Everybody needs to go wash. And they can't touch anything or anyone for 7 days or whatever the rule was. And like Jesus looked at the Pharisees and they're like, she is clean enough. Like, that's how I feel. My dad was a hog farmer, treated our hogs very well. Very well from the time they were born till the time we sent them to slaughter. They had one bad day of their whole life, right? Fed them well, fed them very well, talked to them. I remember, like, even before he died, he had a couple out there. And if you drove out there, you'd see him sitting on a 5-gallon bucket in front of their yard talking to them. Just because he knew that, because pigs are very, very smart. They're very smart. They're like dogs. They're very social. So he would sit out there and he'd talk to them at night. And they would go to slaughter and we'd eat them. Pigs were just kind of how, like, and I never knew this about the Bible, but I think it's Old Testament. But then in the new one, somebody said it, and somebody can say the quote, but there's where Jesus is like, all food that God provides is clean. Like, that's all crap. Like, what? That's cap. Like, we don't. Let's go with the mouth, defieth man, which cometh out the mouth, defieth the man. Yeah, something like that. I remember that one too. Like, if it goes in, it's, it's just mixed in with your unclean. Like, it's, I don't know. We eat pork, and I like pork, and we'll continue to eat pork. We continue to buy our pork from ethical people. We just do. Keith O'Higgins says, you got $1? What's up, buddy? He says, why did Noah put pigs on the ark then? Exactly. Why did we even save them then? Why not just let them go? I think that's all horseshit. I think all the rules that the Jewish people still follow is horseshit. I think it all is. I just do. Did God invent bacon or did God not invent bacon? It is once Jesus died that the law of the OT was complete. Okay. I don't really understand it, but I just remember that it's what comes out. I think that each pork, I think it's fine. And there's somebody else like, oh, they're full of, everything's full of diseases. Tell me you haven't been to a farm without telling me you haven't been to the farm. Like, everything has diseases at some point. If your butcher really fucks up, you can sometimes get a steak with like a ulcer still on it. It's gross. We've never had it happen with the butchers that we use, but I've seen it. It's gross. When he sent the demons to him, it's just hard not to love pork. I don't see anything wrong with it if it's long as it's treated ethically, and it's, butchered ethically. I have a bigger problem with like hog confinements and chicken confinement. Like I have a bigger problem with that kind of farming than I do with whether or not the Bible says something is unclean. I just do. No, I don't want to. Well, I might be able to. It depends on what kind of barbecue it is. What are you doing? Don't go out there. Don't run over all my stuff. Just stay here. We're almost done. That's my dog. And that's okay. You don't have to eat pork. I don't like pork chops. I won't eat those. But I'll eat anything else. I have ground pork recipes that are the bee's knees, man. Sausage, breakfast sausage. Fan-fucking-tastic. We got time for more video? Yeah, let's do it. Let's leave on a fun note, though. Are panda bears real?
Dude, this is nuts. I don't think pandas are real as described.
I'm sorry?
Panda bears. Like, I know about a lot of lies. I think they're like Shih Tzu dogs. Like, I think they were never wild.
Really?
They ovulate 3 days a year. They can't survive. All they do is eat bamboo and they cannot make them procreate. Guess what a group of pandas is called?
What?
An embarrassment of pandas. China owns all of them, which only happens if you have a patent, right? They were never in Chinese literature or art until the end of the 19th century.
What?
Yeah.
Pandas weren't?
My theory is they were like bred to eat bamboo because bamboo is super hard to get rid of, and all they do is eat bamboo, and they're like retarded, and they roll down hills, and they can't have sex.
They weren't in Chinese art or literature?
Never, not until the end of the 1800s.
Okay, so that proves it right there, because like, how could you not paint a panda?
I remember hearing about the panda. Like it is weird. I don't know. I like bacon, but I can't just because I know how much fat is in them. Bacon's got a lot of calories in it. I don't eat it a lot now anymore either, unfortunately. At least right now, while I'm in my deficit. When I'm out and I'm able to just maintain, I might go back to eating more of it, but we're talking pandas. Ribs, chops, roast, ham, bacon. It's good. I'm just saying, I like ham sandwiches. I don't like a big hunk of ham. My dad was a big fan of that. None of us here are big fans of big hunks of ham. I don't understand eating a big hunk of ham, but I do understand slicing it nice and thin and putting it between two pieces of sourdough bread with a little bit of low-fat mayonnaise and some red vinegar oil. Super good. Super good. I agree. I don't know. Maybe God didn't create the panda. I think that's the point. They think that pandas were like grown in a lab. They're a failed Asian cloning experiment. Maybe. Lab bear pig. That was like the general consensus, is that they weren't made by God necessarily. They were a lab experiment gone wrong. I hate ham and pork chops. I don't like ham or pork chops either. I like ham sandwiches, but I don't like hunks of ham. You do need fat, good fat, some fat. You don't need a lot of fat though. They literally make pandas in the zoo. Pickled pig's feet, hard no on that. Man created the panda bear. I think that was the general consensus across that conspiracy theory, was that man actually created the panda bear. And I'm fucking down for it. Whatever. Just whatever. I'm still waiting on aliens. Like, did that just fall to the wayside? What happened? We just done. Thomas Massey was up for re-election, so we're just not going to talk about it anymore. Like, I'm still over this. I don't even know what to do. You know what I mean? So I just cook things and I don't know, have wars with my neighbors, talk about my dog, talk about my summer, my landscaping projects. I don't know what else to do. Anything that I try to, like anything that I do feels very inauthentic to how I see things. And I don't want to be that person either. Like, I don't want to come out here and be like, trust Trump. Trump is right. Trump is right about everything. It's all chess. It's all this. There's a grand master plan, because I don't believe that. But I know that's what my base wants to hear, because it's probably what they're used to hearing, kind of. I never really got that wild with it, but it was like, some things are kind of hinky here and I can kind of see this, but I can't see it anymore. And then on the other spectrum of it, it's like I can't go full fucking. Well, yes, I can. That's what I did. I went full fucking black pill. Like I'm not voting. All done. No. But I don't know what to do with that. So I'm just trying to figure it all out. And I'm having kind of some fun doing it too. Like I like talking about other stuff. And I like talking to you guys about other stuff. Because there is other stuff than the news and the government. Speaking of the news, did we find what's her name's mom? Did we ever find her? No? Nancy Guthrie? I heard she's starting like a new show. I know. Where's your mom? Fucking weird. God. Whatever. I'll come back and talk about the news if we find her. How about that? Drive your Range Rover to Culver's. Get yourself a Butterburger. Looking for Nancy Guthrie. I don't know. What I trust, I don't even think it's Trump. I had this theory back when he got COVID. So when he got COVID, I've said this a couple times, but he got COVID. Remember when that happened? Then they sent him to Walter Reed. Then we got all those weird videos with the green screen. It was just very strange. And then when he came back, things were milder. And then they got weirder. Then all of a sudden, Big Pharma. Then all of a sudden, Operation Warp Speed. Then all of a sudden, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, they replaced that man. And I didn't dare fucking say it at the time. But I feel like I'm okay saying it now. I think we lost him then. And then since then has been a show. But I know you're not going to agree with that, not all of you, but that's okay. When he got off that plane to walk back to the White House after getting back from Walter Reed, he just looked different. Things were different. The crazy Nancys and all that stuff, like they were toned way down. And I think that's when it happened. A lot of people think that it was during the assassination or something. No, I think it was back when he got COVID. Because it just got fucking weird after that. Things just went down. And then what? We lost the election to Joe Biden. It's very strange. So she'll never be found. She probably ate her. All right, I got to go. You guys, I love your faces. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all of your support. Keep her moving. Take it easy. Tell your mom I says hi. And watch out for deer. Bye, guys.
Tonight we're making one. Today for homemade.
If you need a break from the politics, please consider subscribing to our Substack or subscribing to our ex-subscribers. Just good food, good friends, and good times. We'll see you later. Thanks, friends.